The afternoon sky over Sydney was painted a serene blue, a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding below. Alex Morrison, an ex-military officer, had just settled down for a rare family dinner when the first explosion rocked the city. The once tranquil neighborhood transformed into a war zone within moments as alien ships descended from the sky, casting ominous shadows over the fleeing populace. "Alex, what's happening?" His sister, Jenna, shouted over the deafening noise, clutching her young son, Sam, close to her. The fear in her eyes mirrored the panic spreading through the city. "It's an invasion," Alex replied, his voice steady despite the turmoil. His military instincts kicked in as he scanned their surroundings, assessing the quickest route to safety. "We need to move. Now." The Morrison family joined the throng of terrified civilians, their footsteps echoing through the streets filled with rubble and the acrid smell of burning buildings. Alien drones hovered overhead, their metallic bodies glinting menacingly in the sunlight. The Krillians, an advanced and ruthless alien race, had finally arrived, and their demands for Earth's surrender were broadcasted on every screen and loudspeaker. "Humans, your resistance is futile. Surrender or face annihilation," the Krillian voice boomed, devoid of any emotion. Alex knew that surrender was not an option. His training and experiences had taught him that giving up meant death. As they ran, he spotted a group of people barricading themselves in a nearby building. His instincts told him this could be a budding resistance. He led his family towards the building, hoping to find allies in the fight against the invaders. Inside, the atmosphere was tense but organized. People were arming themselves with whatever they could find: makeshift weapons, tools, anything that might give them a fighting chance. A tall woman with sharp eyes and a commanding presence seemed to be in charge. "I'm Dr. Sarah Tan," she introduced herself. "We're forming a resistance. You look like you can handle yourself." "Alex Morrison, ex-military," he replied. "What's the plan?" "We've identified a Krillian command center in the city," Sarah explained, pointing to a map spread out on a table. "We need to gather intelligence on their operations. It's risky, but if we succeed, we'll have a fighting chance." Alex nodded, appreciating her direct approach. "I'm in. But my family." "They'll be safe here," Sarah assured him. "We need every capable hand on this mission." As Alex prepared for the raid, he met Marcus Jackson, a tech-savvy engineer who had rigged a communication device to intercept Krillian transmissions. "This might give us the edge we need," Marcus said, handing Alex an earpiece. "Keep an ear out for any chatter." The group set out under the cover of dusk, moving swiftly and silently through the devastated city. The tension was palpable, every shadow a potential threat. Alex's heart pounded in his chest, but his resolve was unshakable. They reached the outskirts of the command center, a heavily fortified building crawling with Krillian guards. "We need a distraction," Alex whispered, scanning the area. "Marcus, can you hack into their systems?" Marcus nodded, his fingers flying over a portable device. Moments later, the security lights flickered, and a series of small explosions erupted on the opposite side of the building. The Krillians rushed towards the disturbance, leaving their defenses momentarily weakened. "Go, go, go!" Alex urged, leading the team into the heart of the command center. They moved with precision, taking down guards and navigating through the labyrinthine corridors. The mission was going smoothly until they reached a large chamber filled with advanced Krillian technology. "This is it," Sarah said, her eyes wide with a mix of awe and determination. "We need to download their data." As Marcus worked on extracting the information, the sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the halls. "We've got company," Alex warned, readying his weapon. A fierce battle ensued, the resistance fighters holding their ground against the overwhelming Krillian forces. Alex's military training shone through as he coordinated their defense, buying Marcus the time he needed. "We're almost there," Marcus shouted over the noise, his device blinking furiously. "Hold the line," Alex commanded, his voice a beacon of hope amid the chaos. Finally, the download completed, and Marcus signaled that they were good to go. "We've got the intel. Let's move." The group fought their way out, each step a testament to their resilience and determination. As they reached the relative safety of their hideout, Alex took a moment to catch his breath, the adrenaline still coursing through his veins. Good work, everyone, Sarah said, a rare smile crossing her face. This is just the beginning, but it's a start. The night sky over Sydney was a patchwork of stars, marred by the occasional flash of Krillian patrols. Inside the Resistance hideout, the air was thick with anticipation. The data they had retrieved from the Krillian Command Center was a treasure trove of strategic insights, but it was useless without a decisive plan of action. Alex Morrison stood at the makeshift command table, poring over the holographic display that Marcus had managed to project. The room was filled with a mix of seasoned fighters and desperate civilians, all united by a common purpose. "We have a narrow window of opportunity," Alex began, his voice steady and authoritative. "The data reveals a vulnerability in the Krillians' energy shields. We need to strike their main generator before they reinforce it." Sarah Tan, the group's de facto leader, nodded. "This is our chance to turn the tide. We need to move swiftly and decisively." "What's the plan?" a young Resistance member named Ethan asked, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and determination. "We split into two teams," Alex explained. "Team A will create a diversion at the east perimeter. Team B, led by me, will infiltrate the generator facility and plant the charges." The room buzzed with whispered conversations and hurried preparations. Alex caught Marcus's eye, who was busily tinkering with a small handheld device. "This jammer should disable their communication for a few minutes," Marcus said, handing the device to Alex. "It's not much, but it'll give us an edge." "Good work," Alex replied, clapping Marcus on the shoulder. "Let's make sure it's enough." As they set out, the tension was palpable. The city streets were eerily quiet, save for the distant hum of Krillian patrols. Team AA, led by Sarah, moved towards the eastern perimeter, their silhouettes blending into the shadows. Alex led Team B through a series of back alleys, avoiding the main thoroughfares. His mind raced with strategies and contingencies, every step a calculated risk. They reached the outskirts of the generator facility, a towering structure pulsating with a sickly green light. "This is it," Alex whispered, signaling for the team to halt. "Marcus, start the jammer." The device emitted a low hum as Marcus activated it. "We have 3 minutes," he said, his voice tense. "Let's move," Alex commanded. They slipped past the outer defenses, the Krillian guards momentarily disoriented by the jammer. Alex's heart pounded as they navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the facility. The air was filled with the hum of alien machinery, a constant reminder of the stakes at hand. "Over here," Alex gestured, leading the team to a large chamber housing the generator. The room was bathed in a pulsating green light, the heart of the Krillian energy grid. "Plant the charges," Alex ordered, his voice barely audible over the din of the generator. Marcus and Ethan moved swiftly, placing the explosives at key structural points. The rest of the team kept watch, their eyes scanning the entrances for any sign of Krillian reinforcements. "Charges set," Marcus reported, his voice steady despite the tension. "Let's get out of here," Alex replied. "We have less than a minute." As they made their way back, the alarm finally sounded. Krillian guards poured into the corridors, their weapons drawn. The Resistance fighters opened fire, a desperate bid to buy time. "Go, go, go!" Alex shouted, covering the retreat as the team sprinted towards the exit. The sound of explosions echoed through the facility, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. They burst out into the open air, the night sky ablaze with the glow of the generator's destruction. Alex looked back, a sense of grim satisfaction mingling with the adrenaline. "We did it!" Sarah's voice crackled over the comms. "The diversion worked. They never saw you coming." Alex allowed himself a brief moment of relief. "We did it!" he echoed, his eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of pursuit. But this is just the beginning. As the team regrouped, the weight of their actions settled over them. The destruction of the generator was a significant victory, but the road ahead was long and fraught with danger. "What's next?" Ethan asked, his youthful face hardened by the night's events. The aftermath of the generator's destruction was felt throughout Sydney. The Krillians were in disarray, their energy shields flickering, leaving their command structure vulnerable. But the Resistance's victory was short-lived. In the chaos of their retreat, Alex Morrison was captured, dragged away by a squad of Krillian enforcers. Alex awoke in a dimly lit cell, the cold, metallic walls pressing in around him. His head throbbed from a blow he couldn't remember receiving. He tested his restraints, finding his hands bound behind his back with a sophisticated energy lock. So, the humans have some fight in them after all, a voice echoed from the shadows. A Krillian officer stepped into the light, his reptilian features and imposing stature marking him as someone of importance. I am Commander Valtor. You have caused quite a disruption. Alex met Valtor's gaze, his expression defiant. We're just getting started. Valtor chuckled, a sound that resonated with cold amusement. You are a curious species, so resilient, despite your obvious inferiority. Tell me, what drives you to resist when defeat is inevitable? Alex's mind raced. This was more than an interrogation. It was an opportunity. You wouldn't understand, he replied. It's something you Krillians lack the will to fight for freedom. Valtor's eyes narrowed. We will see how long your resolve lasts. But perhaps there is more to be gained from you than mere defiance. The door slid open, and 2 guards entered, lifting Alex to his feet. They escorted him through a series of sterile corridors, the alien architecture both awe-inspiring and unnerving. Eventually, they arrived at a spacious chamber filled with holographic displays and advanced technology. This is our command hub, Valtor explained. And you're going to help us understand your resistance tactics. Alex scanned the room, noting the strategic maps and communication arrays. His mind worked quickly, formulating a plan. And why would I do that? Because, human, Valtor said, leaning in close, your cooperation might earn you leniency. Refuse, and your people will suffer. Alex's thoughts turned to his family and friends, the faces of those he fought to protect. He needed to buy time and gather as much information as possible. I'll help you, he said finally, but on my terms. Valtor raised an eyebrow, intrigued. And what might those terms be? First, Alex began, I need to see your strategic data on the resistance movements. If I'm to be of any use, I need to understand the bigger picture. Valtor nodded, signaling for one of the technicians to comply. As the holographic displays shifted to show various resistance cells, Alex committed every detail to memory. He asked probing questions, feigning interest while extracting critical information about Krillian vulnerabilities. You see, Alex said, pointing to a map of resistance strongholds, the key to breaking us is not brute force, but understanding our motivations. Humans rally around symbols of hope. Valtor considered this, his expression thoughtful. Interesting. And where might we find such symbols? Alex hesitated, calculating his next move. There's a key resistance leader in the northern sector. Capture him and you'll demoralize the others. Valtor smiled, satisfied with Alex's apparent cooperation. Very well. You will accompany us on this mission. Hours later, Alex found himself on a Krillian dropship, bound for the northern sector. The interior was stark, designed for efficiency over comfort. As they approached their destination, Alex's mind raced, formulating a plan to alert the resistance without betraying his own position. Upon landing, the Krillians moved with precision, quickly surrounding the resistance outpost. Alex scanned the area, looking for a way to signal his comrades. His opportunity came when Valtor ordered him to speak with the outpost defenders. Listen, Alex called out, his voice steady. I'm here to negotiate. Lay down your arms, and you'll be treated fairly. In the confusion, Alex subtly activated a hidden transmitter embedded in his clothing, a parting gift from Marcus. The device sent out a silent distress signal, alerting the resistance to their presence. As the Krillians prepared to storm the building, a barrage of gunfire erupted from the surrounding forest. Resistance fighters emerged, their surprise attack catching the Krillians off guard. Fall back! Valtor shouted, but it was too late. The resistance had turned the ambush on its head. Amidst the chaos, Alex broke free from his captors, joining the fray. He fought with the ferocity of a man driven by purpose, each strike a testament to his unwavering resolve. With the Krillians in retreat, the resistance quickly secured the area. Alex found himself face-to-face with Sarah, who had led the rescue effort. Good to see you, Alex, she said, a hint of a smile on her lips. You too, Alex replied, catching his breath. We've got a lot to discuss. Chapter 4, The Turning Point. The Resistance's victory in the northern sector had galvanized their efforts, but Alex Morrison knew it was a fleeting advantage. The Krillians would soon regroup, and their response would be swift and brutal. As dawn broke over the hidden Resistance base, Alex gathered the core team for an urgent briefing. "We've dealt the Krillians a significant blow," Alex began, his voice carrying the weight of their recent struggles. "But we can't afford to rest. Our next move is crucial." Sarah Tan, her face a mix of exhaustion and determination, leaned forward. "What do you have in mind?" "We need to strike at their command center," Alex said, pointing to a map of the city. "It's heavily fortified, but if we can disrupt their central command, we'll throw their entire operation into disarray." Marcus Jackson, ever the pragmatist, furrowed his brow. "That's a tall order. We barely made it out of the generator facility. This will be even more dangerous." Alex nodded. "I know. But we have something we didn't have before: inside knowledge. During my captivity, I gathered intel on their security protocols and weak points." The room fell silent as Alex detailed his plan, each step meticulously outlined. The team would split into 3 units, one to disable the external defenses, another to infiltrate the command center, and a third to provide support and extraction. "We'll need perfect coordination," Alex emphasized. "One misstep, and this could all fall apart." Ethan, the youngest member of the team, looked around nervously. "What if we fail?" Alex placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. We won't. We've come too far to back down now. This is our chance to turn the tide for good." As the team dispersed to prepare, Alex found a moment of solitude to gather his thoughts. The weight of leadership pressed heavily on him, but he knew there was no turning back. He glanced at a photograph of his family, drawing strength from their smiling faces. The operation commenced under the cover of darkness. The first unit, led by Sarah, approached the perimeter defenses, using Marcus's modified jammer to create a temporary blackout. As the lights flickered and died, the Resistance fighters moved in, neutralizing the guards with silent efficiency. Alex led the second unit, navigating through a maze of corridors that seemed to twist and turn endlessly. The air was thick with tension, each step echoing ominously in the dimly lit passageways. "Stay sharp," Alex whispered, his senses heightened by the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "We're close." They reached the central control room, its entrance guarded by a pair of imposing Krillians. Alex signaled for his team to take position, then initiated the attack. The ensuing skirmish was brief but intense, the Resistance fighters outmaneuvering their alien adversaries with practiced precision. "Clear," Alex said, catching his breath. "Marcus, get that door open." Marcus worked quickly, hacking into the control panel and overriding the security systems. The door slid open with a hiss, revealing the heart of the Krillian command center. Rows of consoles and holographic displays filled the room, the air humming with the energy of advanced technology. "We need to upload the virus," Alex instructed, handing Marcus a small device. "This will disable their communication and coordination systems." As Marcus plugged in the device, the screens flickered and dimmed. "It's working," he said, his voice tinged with relief. "We've got a few minutes before they can react." Suddenly, the room filled with a deep, resonant voice. "You've underestimated us, human." Commander Valtor stepped into view, his eyes burning with a cold fury. "You may have disrupted our operations, but you will not leave here alive." Alex squared his shoulders, ready for the confrontation. "We've already won, Valtor. Your command structure is crippled." Valtor sneered. "You think this is over? You are merely delaying the inevitable." A fierce battle erupted, the confined space amplifying every sound and movement. Alex and his team fought with relentless determination, each strike and counterstrike echoing their resolve. The room was a blur of motion and light, the fate of the Resistance hanging in the balance. "Hold the line," Alex shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. "We're almost there." In the midst of the struggle, Marcus completed the upload, and the command center's systems began to shut down. "We did it!" he cried, triumph shining in his eyes. Valtor, realizing the tide had turned, made a desperate lunge at Alex. But Alex, Driven by a surge of adrenaline and purpose, sidestepped and delivered a decisive blow, sending the Krillian commander sprawling to the floor. "We need to move, now," Alex commanded, rallying his team. They made a hasty retreat, navigating through the now disoriented Krillian forces. The Resistance fighters emerged into the night. As they regrouped at the extraction point, Sarah's voice crackled over the comms. "All units accounted for. We're clear." Alex allowed himself a rare moment of relief, the enormity of their achievement sinking in. "We did it," he said softly, a smile breaking through his exhaustion.